Well, hello there, friends. Super great day here. Took the motorcycle out for a ride, 350 miles. Wanted to talk a little bit about motorcycling, and while it's fresh in my head, a lot of people ask me, well, why do you ride motorcycles? It seems dangerous and everything like that. And it is a little tougher way to travel, but quite honestly, the best way to travel, in my mind, is to get on the bike and go someplace, because it's a great experience. And, you can take a car across country, a couple days on the road, and you get home from it. Gets to be around Christmas time, and you're talking about your vacation. You kind of remember a few things about the road trip, but not a lot. Well, a motorcycle, you remember everything. You remember that first stop, filling up with gas. You remember going off the interstate or the 4-lane, taking 2 lanes, going through small towns and seeing a lot of things. And so it really is an adventure in a lot of ways. It's just, one of the best things about it is a lot of times it's just you and the bike. And you're talking with each other. I mean, talking is, in a way, like, you feel the bike. You've got to obviously pay a lot more attention than when a car you can get distracted. You're tuning the radio and everything. On a bike, you have to have situational awareness, right? You got to be watching a lot of other things. But you have this panoramic view. In a car, no matter what you've got, even a convertible, you're going to have an A-pillar. You're going to have things obstructing your view. On a motorcycle, it's totally open. Sure, you got a windshield here, but everything else, I mean, an airplane flies over low or high, whatever, you can take a look and you can really get a good view of it. But where I'm going is, I take off this morning and it's 64 degrees. Now, being that it's late June, sun has some punch to it, but nonetheless, it was a little chilly. I had a light jacket. So when you're on a bike, you'll go through the day going through all kinds of changes. Now, it's cool out, so I have the vents that I adjust to keep as much air off of me. And on a Harley Davidson, you'll get a little bit of heat off of there, but I can adjust the flow and get a little bit in there. But as I kept going, as soon as the sun would break out from behind the clouds, you would see the temperature go up 1 to 2 degrees, and I can feel that. I can feel 1 degree as I'm riding. And so it started warming up, but the wind started switching, and as the bike kind of moves around, you kind of know, hey, I'm going through a front. You can kind of see clouds over there. So when you're on a bike, you start taking in all these factors, and you kind of learn how to anticipate what you're getting into. And as I rode today, I kind of took the interstate till I got to a place where I could get off on a 2-lane road. And immediately, when I pulled on the 2-lane, slow the speed down a little bit. And I could see it had rained the night before. There was a little bit of rain in the ditches. You can smell it. And I could see in the fields that, yep, they'd got some rain, and then I noticed that it looked like a roof or something had been damaged with some high winds or tornado speed winds or something like that. But you get the smell. Sometimes it's not the most pleasant smell, but most of the times it is. Farmers out cutting alfalfa or something, you could smell that. You can smell corn. Corn has a distinct smell to it and everything. So you're kind of out there and you're really getting all the experience. And what's impressive is, I mean, the bike, you're riding the bike. You've got a little bit of vibration no matter what, not just Harleys. Every bike you get, you get something through the bars. And as you get home, you have this sense of accomplishment. And it is kind of a unique experience. I call it as close to flying as you can be. Now, I've got over 10,000 hours of flight time, and there is that certain element of freedom. And being out on the bike, obviously the performance on a motorcycle is going to be better than most cars and all that. So I'm in the biker side of the experience. If I'm going to travel someplace, if I've got time, I'll take the bike because it is such a unique experience. And one of the times, and I'll never forget this, like 20 years ago, I go down, some friends of mine were camping at the beach, 100 miles away. I ride down, hang out for a little while, and all of a sudden I could tell there was some weather moving in. So I get on the bike and I start going. Now, I had to go northeast to get home. I started tacking north, and I could just see these thunderstorms building. So I'd tack a little bit east. Well, the thunderstorms were kind of coming in. There wasn't much I could do about it. And even though I have luggage space, I didn't bring anything along. It was supposed to be nice out. So the rule is always be prepared for the unexpected. But anyway, I got to the point where I could smell the rain, so I didn't want to drive into it, because once you get wet on a bike, temperature drops pretty quickly. If it's 90 degrees out and you get into rain, a lot of times it's down into the 70s, maybe even in the 60s. But if you get wet, it's going to take, after you've driven out of the rain, unless you had rain gear on, you get wet. That evaporation, you're going to get chilled for a little bit. But anyway, I pressed this hill, and I could see at the bottom there was a stream with a bridge, and I pulled the bike over, and I shut the bike off, and I just sat there, and I could hear the thunder once I turned the bike off. And I watched lightning and everything, and I watched as it drifted off to the side. I didn't have the phone at the time that had the app on it to track weather, so I just sat there, and it was perfectly still, very peaceful. I could see a few deer in the trees, not very far from me, and I just sat and watched it for about a half an hour. Looked like it was clear enough to get on the bike. The bike got wet, the road was wet, but I never had a drop on me. And so it's just kind of one of those motorcycle experiences. 20-some years ago, I remember it like yesterday. So that's all I have to say about that. Thanks for joining.